to us there from New Delhi. Thank you, sir. Well, let's see what's happening on the internet. Naz Sadri is at the web desk. Nazneen.
Thanks, Sahel. Well, social media sites have played such a big part in bringing us information and videos out of Libya. Let's start by taking a look at some new video which has just been posted on the website Feb 17th. We must say, of course, that it's difficult to verify any of these independently. This film shows doctors reportedly in a Tripoli hospital treating wounded men. It's unclear when exactly this film was shot, but it's believed to have been on either the February 20th or 21st. And this video was posted on YouTube, was reportedly taken in the Jerba street area of Tripoli on Monday night. It shows a lone gunman shooting at an unseen target. There were reports overnight of snipers firing at protesters in the city. Well, you get a sense of how terrified people are by this recording of a telephone message to a group of Libyans living outside the country called the Feb 17 Voices.
Basically, we need help from everybody. We need support. We need medical aid. We need someone to stop this guy. He's sending in mercenaries from, we don't know where they're coming from. We just need aid. We need help right now. We need this guy to leave the country. Everyone's basically leaving their houses and they're shahading. Nobody's coming back unless they're saying the shahada. They know they're not going to come back. It's really bad out here. Everyone's getting killed. It's getting worse and worse right now.
Now, of course, sites such as Twitter and Facebook are really trying to keep on top of the latest messages. These are tweets from Libyans both inside and outside the country. Ali Twill says, the rain stopped, quiet, but I hear heavy machine guns, about 1 to 4 rounds every 15 to 30 minutes. Then around 10 minutes later, he tweets, I don't like the idea of sleeping while mercenaries are roaming my city in my country, but I have to take some sleep. And this, also from Libya, spoke to a friend who lives in AlJazeera, neighbor, an old lady shot dead while looking onto the street from upstairs window. Free Libyan Youth tweets, protesters in Tripoli do not have weapons, making do with makeshift weapons to fight off the army, mercenaries and police. Well, as we can see from those Twitter messages, there's a real concern about mercenaries, basically men hired to kill by Gaddafi's regime, allegedly. This video was posted by a blogger in the last few hours. It appears to show tanks and soldiers who are said to be the mercenaries. As we can see from the footage, it's taken from inside a car and quite shaky, of course reflecting the dangers right now in the capital, Tripoli. And you can, of course, keep up to date with all the latest messages and those videos we're getting live on our Libya live blog on our website. That's on aljazeera.net/English. And I'll continue monitoring those developments here on the web desk for you. But for now, it's back to you, Sahel.
Thanks very much, Naz. That's our web desk, because we'll be going back to our web desk throughout the day. Let's take you to one of our other stories that we're covering here. A major earthquake has killed 65 people in New Zealand. Hamish Clark is a correspondent with TV3. He joins me now live from Christchurch. Hamish, with the very latest situation, doesn't look very good behind you at all.
No, 6.5 hours ago was when the earthquake struck. It was violent, and now a state of emergency has been declared. As you say, 65 people have been killed, and that number is expected to rise. I spoke to the Prime Minister of New Zealand, John Key, and he said that we've got 350 military on the ground. There's another 250 on the way, 180 police and another 200 on the way as well. There are search and rescue teams that are going through the buildings, step by step, building by building, because there are quite a number of people that are trapped inside buildings tonight. And it's starting to get dark here. It's now Tuesday evening, just before 7 p.m. It's starting to get dark here, and they desperately want to get into those buildings and rescue those that are alive if they can.
Just give us an idea of how wide the area is that we're talking about that's been affected.
Well, we're in the very heart of Christchurch. The Air Force is flying overhead. They are taking satellite photos and video. It appears that a lot of the damage is confined to the central city district, to the tall buildings, to the older brick buildings. It started just out at the port, and it seems to have rumbled through the port, through the city, and it's been very shallow. It was only 5 kilometres underground, a 6.3 on the Richter scale. So although it wasn't as big as the 7.1, it was a 6.3. It was very violent.
Now, we had earlier reports that one of the major hospitals had also been damaged and was being evacuated, and the airport was also closed. If that is the case, or can you bring us up to speed on those particular points? But if the main infrastructure and emergency infrastructure is affected, what sort of help are New Zealanders or are people in Christchurch getting from outside of the area?
Well, there's no power in the city tonight. Everyone's been asked to boil the water. In regards to your question about the hospitals, all elective surgery has stopped and only one ward was damaged. But there are other hospitals up and down the country that have made space available, made beds available, so that those that are injured can be medevaced out of Christchurch all over the country. The Air Force is at the airport. We have a number of aircraft there. Also, we have support from Australia and America, and one of the, or two of the big American planes, the C-17s, is sitting out there, and they will be able to help as well, evacuate the injured out of Christchurch that can't be dealt with in the city. There's also triages. 4 triages have been set up on the outskirts of the city. This is a temporary medical accommodation, temporary medical facilities where those that are injured will go there first. They'll be evaluated and then they'll decide where they go to from there.
Well, for the moment, Hamish, thanks very much for bringing us up to speed. And of course, we'll be following that story in New Zealand as it continues. Thanks a lot. Well, the Rafah border crossing is being reopened to allow Palestinians with special permission to cross into Egypt. The terminal in the border town is the only exit point for Gazans who need to travel. It's previously been open, but only for residents with exceptional circumstance. AlJazeera's Nicole Johnston is there at Rafah. How long will the border be open today?
The border will only be open for 5 hours. It's a very limited opening. We're outside the waiting room at the moment. Just let me show you a bit of the scene. There have been hundreds of Palestinians waiting here at Rafah since very early in the morning, which really goes to show how important and how significant this Rafah crossing is for Palestinians. As you said, it's the only opportunity they really have to get out of Gaza, but it's a very limited opening. Now, the only people who can leave Gaza through the Rafah crossing are students who are about to attend a foreign university, patients, as well as foreign passport holders. So the majority of Palestinians in Gaza are still stuck inside the borders.
And how concerned are Gazans who are either coming back or travelling over into Egypt about certainly the current circumstances that they've seen in that bordering country, and also the turmoil that they must be hearing about in Libya?
Well, to be honest, most Palestinians are actually just very relieved at this stage that there is some sign of a degree of normalisation in Egypt, insofar as at least the border is open again, because the border has been closed for over 3 weeks. But of course, Palestinians, most of the people that you see with me here today, are really hoping that this change that's sweeping through the Middle East will, at the end of the day, bring them some benefit. So they're hoping that a change of regime in Egypt will eventually open the Rafah border for everyone, for all Palestinians to cross